She stood in the middle of my office, my desk, my monitors, my files everywhere, and told me I was being selfish for not wanting to give it up. Me, selfish in my own house. So, my mother-in-law, I'll call her Diane, announced 2 weeks before she arrived that she was staying for a month. Not asked. Announced. My husband Marco forwarded me the email like it was totally normal, and I just sat there staring at it. A month, 30 days in our house. Here's the thing, we have a guest room. An actual real guest room with a bed and a dresser and everything. But Diane decided, apparently while packing, that the guest room wasn't good enough because it faces the street and she's a light sleeper. My home office, on the other hand, faces the garden. Quiet, peaceful. Also where I run my entire freelance business, but sure, let's not factor that in. She showed up on a Saturday with two enormous suitcases and walked straight past the guest room like it didn't exist. She didn't even bring it up right away, which almost made it worse. She waited until dinner, set down her fork and said, totally casual, I was thinking I'd take the back room, it's much more comfortable for my back. I said, really gently, that the back room was my office and I work from home full time, but that the guest room had a brand new mattress and blackout curtains we'd literally bought for her visit. She did this smile, you know the smile, the one that means she's already decided and she's just waiting for you to catch up. Oh, you can work from the kitchen table. It'll only be a month. A month at the kitchen table. For my job. But okay, sure, I stayed calm. I said I couldn't do client calls from the kitchen, that I had equipment set up, that it genuinely wasn't workable. I offered to add a white noise machine to the guest room, hang heavier curtains, whatever she needed. She goes, I just don't understand why my comfort isn't a priority in my own son's home. Her son's home, not my home, her son's home, I let that one sit for a second. Marco, to his credit, started to back me up, said the guest room was perfectly comfortable, and Diane pivoted so fast I got whiplash. Suddenly it wasn't about her back at all. It was about the fact that I clearly didn't want her there, and this was just the excuse I was using. She said, and I'm quoting directly here, a daughter-in-law who actually welcomed her family wouldn't even hesitate. I took a breath. I said she was absolutely welcome, the guest room was ready for her, and that was the room available for guests. Final answer. She pushed back from the table, announced she wasn't hungry anymore, and went to make a phone call. We could hear her in the hallway telling someone, Marco's aunt. We figured out later that I was making her sleep in a storage room, the guest room, with the new mattress that I bought for her. The next morning I was in my office at 8, on a deadline, headphones on. I looked up and Diane was standing in the doorway holding a set of sheets. Actual sheets, like she'd already decided. I took my headphones off and just looked at her. She goes, I thought about it and I'd like to get settled in today. If you could move your things to the kitchen this afternoon, that would be wonderful. I said no, just no, not a long speech, not another round of negotiating, no. And that was it, that was the thing that broke the seal. She went from 0 to full volume in about 4 seconds. You have never respected me, not once in 6 years. Marco deserves someone who treats his family like family, and you just don't care, do you? You sit in here all day and you act like this is your private little kingdom and nobody else matters. I could hear Marco's footsteps coming down the hall. She was still going. I am his mother. I should not have to beg for basic decency in my son's home. Marco walked in, saw the sheets in her hands, looked at me, looked at her. And I said, very quietly, very clearly, Diane, I've offered you every accommodation I can think of. The answer to this room is no. If that makes this visit too difficult, I completely understand, and I can help you look at hotels nearby that I'm happy to contribute to. Her jaw actually dropped. She looked at Marco like he was going to override me. He didn't. Marco told her out loud right there. Mom, this is her office. It was never an option. You're welcome in the guest room or we can find you somewhere close by, but this conversation is done. Diane stood there holding those sheets for what felt like a full minute. The entitlement just draining out of her face in real time, replaced by something she clearly wasn't used to feeling. She set the sheets down on the hallway floor outside my office door, not even carrying them back, just deposited them and went to her room. The guest room where she belonged. She spent the rest of the visit perfectly polite, almost weirdly so, like a switch flipped. But I keep thinking about that hotel offer. I said it to mean it, not as a power move, but the way it landed, the way it made her actually stop? I don't know. Some people in my life said I should have softened it. That offering to send your mother-in-law to a hotel is a line you don't cross. Maybe, but she was standing in my office with sheets. Honestly, though, what would you have done? Comment below.